All right, I'm going to pause this. Whew. Hey, everybody. We're just getting started here. Tom and Dow and Matthew. Hey, how's it going, Matt? And we got Kevin joining from the car. Yeah. That's awesome. Kevin, you're muted right now, but that's totally fine. We probably have a few of you guys joining from the car. I think Travis is also in the car. This is so awesome. I literally just got out of the car and ran here. So, oh boy. All right. Let's just sort of get everybody in here and settled. All right. So today it's going to be a little bit of a different session. We're just going to dive into showing you around the sort of new couple of new things that we're working on. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. First time I am seeing you in the car.
Yep. Had a little bit of a hectic morning getting the kids to school, so but I think we're good.
All good. All good. I will. That's fine. And I can do the screen sharing. I'm just going to actually pull up my screen here. And yeah, so we're going to sort of do a little deep dive of what we're working on and how and why we're doing it, and then sort of open up the floor for any Q&A and sort of treat that as a Q&A session today. We don't really have a guest who is going to speak with us. Last time, who did we have last time, Kevin? Do you remember?
Priced, right? We had Priced on.
Did we have Priced?
Was that last time?
I think we had Priced.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Okay, cool. My memory is so shot. Cool. Who can see your message recording on? That's interesting. Zoom has changed a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna just open up my screen. Sean, how are you doing? No, you're laying low there. We don't have a huge group here today.
I'm good. Thanks, Jesse.
Awesome.
Hey.
All right, and we got a couple new people. Dow, we spoke yesterday. So welcome to this call. I know you're going to be joining me tomorrow. We got a bit of a larger group tomorrow. So Dow, just be prepared with your list tomorrow. We're going to be doing mailing demos. And for those of you guys that are joining in now, like if you ever want a refresher and you want to sit through doing a mailing, I'm going to be also talking about neighbor letters tomorrow as well. Please do join me. That's 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. But you can always see all of our upcoming events on our, if you go to our resources and upcoming events, you can add all our events to your calendar. So it will all be there. So Kevin, how about I share my screen?
Yes, that would be
let's
perfect.
Sort of go
and I can chat about it.
Cool. All right, I'm going to share my, how do I, bear with me, like my computer really chugs once I start sharing my screen. But, all right, cool. Do you guys see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay. Are you delayed? Is it delayed or it just took a long time to load?
It just took a little bit of time to load, but
okay,
I think it's good now. Yep.
All right, well, Kevin, why don't we sort of talk about how we're handling properties and sort of some of the issues that we were facing for seller leads?
Yeah, so basically the crux of the issue is that you've got seller leads that come in, like somebody on the phone or somebody returns an offer letter, and you go into your seller's page here and you add a new seller lead. And sometimes those are automatically added if you're using the seller's inbox. But then if you click into one of those leads, so Jesse, if you can just dive into one.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the lead here, and we've got that lead assigned to a property. And the issue previously was that if I wanted to stay on this lead page, and make changes to the property information. Like, let's say I have a bunch of custom fields about my due diligence process. I want to be able to change those custom fields, but the way it sits now is I would have to go into that property, basically leave this page, go to that property, do my due diligence, and then I'd have to come back to the lead page to update the status. So maybe make notes or change the stage that leads in. And that was just kind of a little bit of friction there. So what we have done is we've redesigned this properties list here to basically bring all of the property fields right onto the leads page here. So we've changed the interface from being tabs across the top to now it's your field sections are on the left side here. So all of your field sections will be listed there, including your custom fields. And then you can go and view any of that information. And then you can also click the edit button over there to drop into the edit screen. And then you can start making changes right here from the leads page. And we also made this change the same for the properties page. So now when you go into the properties page, you'll see the same interface there with the tabs on the left-hand side. I think that'll be good for those of you who have lots and lots of sections that before you would have to scroll your tabs left and right, which was kind of clunky. So now with them being on the left-hand side, you'll be able to fit a lot more there and be able to quickly navigate those. So yeah, it's a small change, but I think it'll be a big workflow improvement. So you can spend more of your time on the leads and be able to handle all of your data input right there.
Now, one of the things too, also, when you have a lead, you know, a lot of sometimes it can come in through a form, it can come in through a website. That information is laid out here. For those of you who still are new, I know there's a couple new faces in here, like Dow. Your leads information, you know, if it's coming from a form, would show up on the note side here. So it makes it really easy for you to paste it and bring it into this area. And again, not have to navigate over to this page where it's the properties page and make all the notes on your due diligence and whatnot. As well as if you had multiple properties too. You can add more than one properties and you would essentially get the same thing. You know, you would have all your property tabs here, your property sections all show up on the left side for that specific property as well. So again, you can handle, you know, pretty much most of your note taking for that property while you're, especially when you're on the call with a lead or, you know, when you're working that lead, you can stay on this page. You don't need to have two tabs opened up.
That's cool. Hey, I like this. This is I can't wait to see it. So this is coming.
This is coming today. I think. Well, today. I'm in Korea, so it'll be overnight tonight. So you can wake up tomorrow morning and start playing.
I'm gonna stay up all night until I see it.
Okay. That's dedication right there. That's pure dedication.
And Kevin, the only other thing, so this is great. Just consider too down the road then if you could get it so that you know you can also just hide that. Like I'll have a number of owners or sellers. They'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 properties, and that list is pretty long.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that's a great point. We can look into doing that as well.
Okay, nice change though.
Kevin, cool. do you want to sort of talk about tags while it's sort of like next on our immediate timeline right now?
Yes, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So right now, there is so currently we have, if you look at that little badge there, I know it's kind of small, but there's that status for each individual property. What does that one say?
New stage. I'm going to see if I can.
New stage. Yeah, so that's like a list of stages, and right now each property can have one status, and you can so the issue that we currently have is basically statuses I can give you a history lesson about Pebble here. When we started out with Pebble, we had no buyers and sellers. We had no board. There was just properties, and each property had a status, and we sort of built your workflow around that status drop down there. Once we added buyers and sellers, we sort of tried to push the flow into those seller and buyer stages. So as you move cards across your board, and as you move the stages there, that's sort of your process for each individual lead that comes in. And so we were left with this sort of statuses in two places. So we've got the lead status, and then we have the property status. And sometimes those were different, and sometimes they were the same. So there was a bit of confusion there. And what we've decided to do, because we understand that there is scenarios where you want to be able to categorize your properties individually, separate from leads. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert that status field into something called tags. And what that's the change is basically, instead of having only one status per property, you're going to now be able to have multiple tags per property. So in a situation where this might come in handy is, let's say you get a bunch of let's say you run your business and you want to track bounced responses. So you get yellow letters back, and you want to be able to tag a property saying that this address bounced, and so we need to skip trace this owner and maybe send them out again. And so what you can do is you will be able to tag those properties that come back with a tag, and maybe it's like skip trace December 2022. So you want to tag a bunch of these properties with skip trace and note them to be skip traced in like a month or two from now. And so you can tag those properties, and then you can also tag them with other things. So maybe you've got different categorization for different things that you're doing in your business. So you can basically add a bunch of tags to different properties, and then you'll be able to filter by those tags down the road as well. So I think it's a change that will open up a lot of opportunities for categorizing your properties. And and what the change that you'll see basically is, instead of it just being one status per property, that status you have assigned now will just turn into a tag, and then you'll be able to add multiple tags to that property.
Could see a million uses for that.
Yeah. So, and we'll have some knowledge-based articles showing some scenarios where you might want to use tags.
That's kind of like the follow-up boss experience where they use tags is so powerful. That'll bring that into Pebble.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So we'll get that going here over the coming weeks. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be launching that feature. So stay tuned for that. Let's see, what else do we have coming up, Jesse?
Well,
tasks.
Tasks. So we have the role automation, and then as well, we're working on our task automation as well. So that's something sort of coming up, in the next few weeks type of thing as well.
Yeah, tasks will be great. So this is scenarios where you have common sort of steps that need to happen across your workflow. So let's say you've got a due diligence process, and step one is look up the property boundaries. Step two is call the county and ask if there's zoning issues. Step three is look up water availability. It's like you've got this set of tasks that need to happen for every lead that comes in. And so we are going to allow you to create those tasks and also save task lists. So if you have a common due diligence process, you can have it automatically with like one click. Every lead that comes in gets this due diligence thing. And then the people who are assigned to that lead will get notified that there's tasks to be completed. And then as you complete those tasks, you can quickly see the progress there. So we think that'll be super powerful. We can also assign, we're going to be able to assign dates to tasks. So you can say this task needs to be done in 3 days or 5 days or 2 days or whatever, and it will automatically notify your team members when those tasks are coming due. So that'll be a huge win, I think, for the process.
I think this really stems back to a lot of people having to feel like they have to micromanage everybody on the team, making sure that everybody is staying on top of everything. So having this, everybody is on the same page. There's full transparency and there's full accountability because the entire team can see what's going on and everybody gets automatically notified. So hopefully that'll alleviate some of the, I hear it quite a bit with investors having to manage their team and make sure everybody is staying on top of things. So it's definitely one of those things that has been, that's been requested for since the very beginning. I think having some form of automation and team reminders. So we're looking forward to getting this out there into your guys' hands. Aside from that, a couple small changes happening at the end of this month. We are moving over our mailing over to, some of you guys may know them as Rocket Print and Mail. Some of you guys may know them as Postcard Mania. Rates are technically going down, and we announced this on our last update roundup. Rates are going down, but they're going up as well because across the board postage is going up. So kind of like, it's like we had new rates ready, and then suddenly everything got canned because everything is going up. So effectively, we look like we're going up, but actually we're going down.
We are going. Rates will go up, but much less than they would go up had we not switched to Rocket Print. So that's sort of the gist of it.
So we're in the middle of testing that, and that's a big shift over to compile everybody's mailing and make sure that it goes to the right place now. So we're in the middle of that, and we should see that change like pretty much the 1st of September.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This also opens up, by the way, a lot of possibilities in terms of different products, in terms of different mailing products. So one of them that I'm sort of exploring right now is a full windowed envelope where you can literally see the whole envelope, because I think there's been I've seen where you're able to print the map of the property right on the letter so that they can see it through the envelope, and some people are doing some pretty creative stuff with that. We're exploring more handwritten style fonts, live stamps, and stuff like that. Those are things that we're going to explore and see if we're going to bring them in. But we do have a lot more different products when it comes to actual mail pieces down the road. So look out for that. Well, let's open the floor up for any questions that you guys may have. Sean, if you have any further questions, I know I just kind of cut you off there, but feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question, or you can put your hands up and I'll unmute you. Typically a little bit quiet here, but go ahead.
Yeah, so Jessey is now basically it'll end up being like a 1 cent increase at the end of the day, right? Net, something like that for a standard.
I don't know what the postage rates are going to be. Kevin, do you know yet? I know they're going up, and I don't know by how much yet.
Yeah, I think the post office is increasing rates somewhere around 2 to 3 cents.
Yeah,
it's 3 cents.
Yep. And depending on, I think postcards might be a little less, but the 2 to 3 cents. And then, so yes, we will be increasing on the base postage rate, that 2 to 3 cents, but the additional page rate is actually going to go down. So if you're sending 2-page letters, you will see a total decrease, and I have to double check the numbers, but you'll see a total decrease of like a penny, if you're sending a 2-page letter. If you're sending a 1-page letter, you're going to go up by that 2 to 3 cents. I think it's 3 cents. So, so yeah, we'll get you the exact numbers here in the coming weeks. We're just finalizing those mailing rates, so we will let you know when we have those. But depending on what you're mailing, you might actually see a decrease in your overall postage.
Okay. Hey, the last thing I had, and then I've got to leave. I don't want to hog the time. I like the Pebble Data Insights. I thought that's really interesting. I hope you keep that going.
Awesome.
I mean,
Is there anything that you would like to see more in there?
I'll you know, it could be interesting to see some of the dollar amounts. Like it's just interesting to see like how much is being sold through Pebble, or what's the average sale price, let's say, or average buy price. All that stuff would be interesting.
Sure.
It does help benchmark a little bit too on response rates and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And for those of you guys who don't know, if you haven't joined our Pebbler Slack community, please leave your email in the chat there, as long as you're a Pebble user right now. I know a couple of you guys are about to become Pebble'rs. But every month, what we'd like to do is publish some user data insights and at least give you guys a bit of benchmarking, so you know what some of the numbers are. Sorry, Sean, did you ask a question? I cut you off there.
No, that was it. I just I hope you guys keep that going. I like it.
Awesome. We will.
All right. Hey, and I've got to leave. Thanks a lot, guys.
Sean, have a great night.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
Larry mentioned here they are increasing the first class stamp price from 55 cents to 58 cents June 1st, 2021. So has that already been increased? We haven't, that hasn't affected us yet.
I think they proposed it on June, but it doesn't go into effect until August 31st, if I read that correctly. So I think it's August 31st where they actually, and that actually might have been stamped mail, like for individuals, but their bulk mailing, which is what we have, that price goes up on the 31st. So that might be why. Difference there.
Hey guys, I just had a thought pop up on the, that you're talking about response rates, like campaigns and letter type or whatever. Is there any possibility to do something like attaching the response rate to, you have your postcard templates, your letter templates, kind of your out of the box templates, template library, and you pick a template or create a template. I'm not sure if this is possible, but if you could have response rate next to that, that'd be pretty slick. I don't know if you can get that granular to what postcard or letter template was used, right? But if you're using a customized one, they're just using your out of the box templates. That'd be pretty cool to see. Interesting to see what templates, are working really well.
Yeah, that's a great point. We can definitely look into that.
One of the things that we sort of talked about was sort of doing it through Slack, was sort of getting a feel for it and seeing, how you guys felt and seeing what else you guys wanted to see. And I think down the road, these would be sort of benchmark numbers that potentially could show up on the dashboard or in the template library as well, like you said, Travis. So that is sort of part of the plan. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But then you're also like, so many factors can come into play if there's an offer on there. But it'd be interesting nonetheless to see overall what that. I think we'll just have to make that disclaimer that you would have other potential factors that can affect those rates and the performance of each of those mailers. So
5% offer prices will not yield
Yeah.
response rate with this postcard. Yeah, disclaimer.
Yeah, you'll have a great response rate, but you might go out of business.
And by the way, for those of you guys that are watching, Travis and I will be doing our very first, what we're calling our classroom series. I'm super stoked about this. It's all on ranged offers. That's going to be happening on the 24th. We're going to be announcing that shortly. It's yeah, some really cool stuff that Travis is doing. So look out for that coming through. We're probably going to announce that sometime next week. So any
I have
other
a question,
questions?
guys?
Yeah.
I have a question. So I have two
Sure.
questions. First, like in the sellers tab, again, this comes from my lack of knowledge of Pebble, so I apologize if it's already there.
That's
So on the sellers tab, there are all these different buckets. Two of my buckets are do not mail or like offer declined. So over several months, what has happened is there are like all these different seller cards that have piled up over there, like possibly 40 or 50 in each of those buckets. So I now have to individually click on each seller card and mark it as closed. So is there a way that if it's, say, more than 30 days old, it automatically marks it as closed and takes it off of that bucket?
So if a seller calls you or you're talking to a seller and they say, I'm not interested, you're at that point moving that card to your not interested column, is that correct?
Right, exactly. So I sent an offer for $10,000. This guy responded back saying that I'll sell it for $1 million, and I'm not kidding. I'm selling it for $1 million. So I'm going to drag it and move it to do not mail or offer decline. So now that list has just gone, it's really big, and I don't need to have it so big. So I just want to make sure that I don't have to manually click on each seller card and mark it as closed to make it disappear from that bucket. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I just wonder, do you even need that bucket? Like when the person calls you and it says they're not interested or wants a crazy number, why not just go in there right then and click closed?
Go to the property itself and then just hit close.
So, well, you just click on the seller. So Jesse, maybe you can just click on one of those.
Yeah.
So you click into the seller and then you click closed up there on the top right. Or you can say, some people use the lost button. If you can use closed or lost. It depends on how you want to categorize those.
You know what? Another idea here is like, and Kushal, I'm probably, my understanding is you probably want to keep them there just in case for whatever you want to mark them. You never know what might happen, right? And you still, I don't know whatever the reason is, but I think with tags, I think this is where it's you're going to be able to still categorize them with tag, but they're not going to show up inside of your seller board, but you still have categorized them when we launch our tags as do not, no deal or do not call type of thing. I think tags could potentially solve that issue of having to pile up on all these cards on the left side. Probably, I'm sure you're probably keeping on the left side of your board as like do not call. So that's sort of my thought on that, at least.
Okay.
It
makes sense. It makes sense. So then a second part of that question is, so if I just mark it as lost, then if I have to remail the same campaign after say 100 days, I'm assuming that it will automatically disregard those lost. Isn't that right?
Right now, it will not. Like right now, if you add that same property back to another campaign, it will remail it. And there's some cases where you would want to remail for those people who are doing different types of campaigns. But what we will be adding is a specific do not mail toggle on the property. And we're going to be adding that over the next couple months. So once we add that, if I never want to mail this person again, you'll go into the lead, toggle that do not mail ever, and then any campaign following that will not mail to them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But right now you'll just have to sort of be diligent about it. Just remove those properties from your lists, or just not worry if they get another letter. Because sometimes, in my case, I have had those angry sellers that call up and say, this is ridiculous that you're asking this much. I don't want to sell you my property. And then I mail them 6 months later and I get a call back and they're like, yeah, maybe I'll sell you it now for that price. Because things change. And sometimes even people that get mad a year down the road forget they ever even talked to you, and now they're ready to sell.
Yeah. And last question on the remailing. Is there a functionality where, again, this might be pushing it, but is there a functionality where for every campaign I can program it that in 120 days, remail at 10% more to everyone who has not responded?
Yes, you can do that. Okay, so Jesse, you got your screen up here?
I do.
Now it's not going to be automatic, but it is pretty easy to do. So if you go to properties there, and let's say we wanted to remail a campaign. So click filters.
Yeah, sorry, it takes a.
Yeah, Jesse's computer gets a little slow.
Oh man, come on. Okay, here we go. Oh boy.
And then you'll filter by a specific campaign. So just select one of those.
Yeah.
And then the last thing we want to do is filter out any property that has had a seller. So down there where it says seller, say not set.
Oh, sorry. Seller
status,
state.
the one you had. Nope, seller status.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then say not set. So what that means is only properties who have not had a seller assigned to them. So this is basically any pending property that never got a response. And now, you can click done.
Yep.
And then check the checkbox there. And
Sorry,
say,
all. Sorry.
Yep. Select all and then create campaign. So this will create your new campaign. So now that's basically a copy of that original campaign, but only without any of the responded properties. And now you can go in and adjust the offer prices if you're doing blind offers. Yep. So you say adjust price, and you can say 10% up.
So you'll see everything.
So now, Yep. So we've now adjusted all those offers, and now we can click activate, and that's your new campaign.
I see. So in this case, so the first one, say Mark Starr was somebody who said, "Do not mail me again." So so if I had marked him as such, it wouldn't eliminate him. I'll have to figure out a way to eliminate him. Is that right?
Well, it would eliminate it in that case because we set the because we filtered properties by seller status not set.
Oh, right.
Because he was a seller at some point, we filtered those properties out of that campaign. So Mark Starr had Mark Starr come in as a seller, he would not now be on this new campaign. Does that make sense?
Yes. Jesse, is there a knowledge-based article in terms of how to do this?
Yeah. So remailing and remailing, recreating. Ava, if you're listening right now, which you probably are, can you make sure Kushal gets 2 articles? It's in our knowledge base for remailing and recreating a campaign, and also price adjustment as well. And to follow up with your question here, Dow asks, is this example of you reusing an old list? Will your system update their address? So yes, Dow, this is an example of us using an old list, and we filtered out anybody that basically didn't get back to us. And will your system update their address? So your the data is based on whatever you brought in from your data source. Now, if there is what is that? NOAC? No, oh my gosh, the change of address thing. if there is,
Yeah, if the person filed a change of address with the US Postal Service, then even though their old address is in Pebble, the letter will get forwarded to their new address. Now, if you have a bunch of, if you're mailing a campaign from a year ago, it's likely that properties would have changed hands or some of your data might be stale. So in that case, it might be better to go back to a list provider like DataTree and pull a new list. And when you import that new list, Pebble will be smart and it will only update existing properties. So if you have that property already in Pebble, it's not going to create a new one. It's going to update the existing one that you already had. But that will just ensure that all the data is really fresh. So depends on how you want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Kushal, we'll get you those articles though.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any other questions you have for us here?
Okay.
Sweet. All right. Well, I keep thinking this is Facebook where there's like a major delay, but there isn't. And I think we're live here on Zoom. So if there are no other questions, please drop your email. Do it within the next 20 seconds here. If you're not part of the Slack group, do drop your email. We'll invite you in that Slack group. It's not a place for support because we need to be able to track all support issues and questions and issues. Rather, it is really more of a community to connect with each other and share insights and anything that you're hoping to be able to, anything that you can share, you know, it is a positive for our community as well. So hopefully you also gain a lot of there. I know Travis recently shared a post on Regrid, which has been awesome. So do check out that post, and he put together a little video inside there if you haven't seen it. So.
And hey, Jesse, I know you guys absolutely don't want the, you know, that Slack channel to turn into a support platform, right? But for tips or resources like this, like that, the knowledge base, would that be a candidate, something like that, to drop in there, and it would allow people to save it, you know, and pin it in their Slack channel?
Yeah. I mean,
things like that, that might be kind of one of those frequent bookmarks you go to instead of sifting through the knowledge base. You know?
So the thing is, I can't bookmark or pin things for other people. It has to be pinned by your own account. So
Okay.
if you do see something interesting, pin it. And if I do see a lot of reactions to a post, I'll try to repost it again so that people see it. But this is a free Slack account, meaning there is limited history, and you do have to favorite your own stuff. So,
but if you post it in like the general channel, we can pin it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
You can hit the little bookmark, it'll save onto your account. So you have that. You'll have a folder that says saved, and you can always view that there.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, guys, thanks very much for joining on us for this month's update roundup. In a few more weeks, we'll be doing the webinar. We'll be doing our next update roundup as well. Sorry, this is not an update roundup. This was a mastermind. So thanks for joining us. And we'll see you guys all inside the Slack channel. Cheers, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.